Well, my pleasure. This is George G, and the time is right. Welcome to today's guest, strong and powerful Yury Byalik. Yury, are you ready to do this?
I am ready. Thanks for having me.
Yeah, I'm excited to have you on. Let's go. Yury is the head of strategy and acquisitions with OnFolio Holdings. They're an organization acquiring and managing a diversified portfolio of online businesses across a broad range of verticals. Yury, tell us a little bit about your personal life, some more about your work, and why you do what you do.
Sure. So just a quick background about me. I grew up in New York and New Jersey in the States. Although for the past 5 years, I've been living that digital nomad lifestyle. So traveling probably to, I don't know, 20 or 30 countries in that time. My background is by education. I'm an attorney. I have like a funny story when I was sued kind of when I was in law school. And I'm like, well, actually I was sued before law school. I'm like, I should learn how to defend myself. So decided to do that. But then kind of shortly after graduating, I realized it wasn't for me and decided to go the digital marketing route. And so my background and experience has been in the digital marketing world, doing SEO for e-commerce companies, consulting companies, agencies. And then over the last couple of years, I've transitioned a bit more into doing more holistic digital marketing as well as mergers and acquisitions for Unfolio. And just a bit about Unfolio. So we're a publicly traded company as of about 2 months ago. And yeah, we just buy and run online businesses. We recently closed on 3 acquisitions and hoping to do more in the future.
Nice. So you got sued, and that motivated you, scared you, prompted you to go and actually go to law school. That sounds like something that I really almost did right there without the getting sued thing. So has it served you having the law degree?
I think it's opened up certain doors. I'd say from a financial standpoint, it's probably one of the more expensive and worst mistakes of my life. But it has definitely opened up certain doors. And actually, while I was in law school, I had built a couple websites, which I ended up selling to a legal marketing company and then worked for them after law school instead of pursuing law. So, everything in life has kind of a way of working out. It's hard to know whether something makes sense at the time, but eventually it all plays out.
It is hard to know if something makes sense at the time. You know, you have a framework for trying to look at a scenario and make decisions as to whether or not this is something you want to move forward with or not. You made the decision to become a digital nomad. I think a lot of people who are listening are like, wow, that's really cool. And you're in Vietnam. I'm in Arizona in the United States. So that's pretty neat. Um, the framework, I'm curious about how you evaluate your your potential acquisitions for Onfolio? How do you think about and make decisions on which companies are going to be right for you?
Mhm. I think that it changes and evolves over time, but there's certain metrics we look at. So we look at, for example, EBITDA, and like and that goes up as we make larger acquisitions. We try to make larger and larger acquisitions. So right now, our minimum is about 500,000. Um, I've kind of spent most of my life online, so I've had a lot of like experience diving in into different businesses and seeing how they work, and so a lot of that is just based on doing due diligence. So, we look at the team, whether the team comes with the business, whether they have a solid team. We look at the marketing funnel, the sales funnel, where they're getting leads. So we get really granular. We look at the customer acquisition cost, the lifetime customer value, and we just evaluate all those things. But for example, now, I think that we're about to enter a recession. We don't know how long it's going to last or how big it'll be, or how bad it'll be. And so one thing we're looking at is how would a business like this do in a recession? And so that's definitely like top of mind now as we look at different businesses.
Yeah. And do you have thoughts on certain industries that maybe you're going to focus on and not focus on because of the recession?
I don't know what we'll focus on. I know there's some industries that tend to do better during recessions. For example, pets usually are recession proof, no matter what people spend money on their dogs, and probably even more so as a recession comes because they're saving money from going out to restaurants and other things like that. I recently found out that like skincare and beauty is pretty recession proof as well. And people like the self-care industry, people like to pamper themselves even in a recession, which is something I wouldn't have imagined. But we look at a lot of different businesses that come from different directions, from incoming deal flow, brokers, marketplaces. So even if we look at a business that's not directly tied to a recession, for example, if we look at purchasing an agency, right, we want to know what kind of clients the agency has, because if the clients are in a recession-proof agency, that means that agency will continue to do well during the recession.
Yeah, that makes sense. So for your deal flow, potential acquisition targets come across your desk. How do you think about a company that's actively trying to sell itself versus a company that's not? Does that play in?
Yeah. I mean, if we're getting the deal flow, usually it means it's coming from like a broker, a marketplace, or somebody selling it. So that means it's already somebody who is trying to sell it. But if you try to reach out, like doing cold outreach to see if somebody wants to sell their business, it's kind of a hit or miss. A lot of people have unrealistic expectations as to what their business is worth, just because they put so much, of their like life into it, and they want to get it back, even though from a financial standpoint, it doesn't necessarily make sense. So yeah, I think that's kind of the tricky part. But it's always better to get something that's not listed on the market, because there's less competition available, which means you might get a better deal. And I think you have an advantage there when you can get something privately.
And so when you're looking at this opportunity, let's just make up a fictitious company that is in the self-care industry and they have EBITDA of $1 million a year. They've got the marketing funnel that's solid, a sales funnel. When you take it over and y'all shake hands, you buy it, it's now yours. Your thought process is that we can make this more efficient, or why is it, or how is it you think that you can drive that EBITDA number higher?
So actually, with the position that we're in, we don't necessarily have to grow the company, because if you think of if you think of it as real estate, you buy a building and it's making you $2,000 a month in rent, right? You're not thinking about how are you going to get that 2,000 number to 8,000, because it's kind of, there's only so many units you can do. Obviously, our goal would be to grow it as much as we can, but that's not necessarily our number one priority. Our priority is making sure that the revenue stays where it is and doesn't decline. But of course, yeah, we would love to grow it. Usually when we acquire businesses, we try to keep the entire team in place. We're not like a venture capital fund or private equity where we're going to come in and try to cut expenses and fire people. We ideally keep the entire management team in place. We put in an operator. It might be somebody promoted internally who's already there, or we'll bring somebody new. And then it's their job to run and ideally grow the business.
So the idea is that you have an owner that is wanting an exit?
Correct. Usually that's the case.
Got it. Okay. And is there an end or a limit to how many organizations that Onfolio is looking to acquire?
I hope not. As we grow, we're gonna, the goal is to continue buying businesses. There's a lot of players in the space now, and they start with one or two, now they have like 40, 50, and they continue to grow it. So yeah, there's definitely no ceiling here.
That's interesting. This is this a new industry? Is what you're doing? How long has it been around? How long has it been a business model?
I wouldn't say it's a new one, but I'd say it's something that's recently been booming, because these like real estate investors and family investors, they've sort of looked at the profits and the kind of the multiples and the ROI that they get from their real estate deals. And, it might be like 7%, 8%, where they look at online businesses and it can be 20, 30, 40%, depending on the business, which is very attractive to them. So this entire industry has been growing very quickly and been getting a huge influx of money. I mean, if you look at I would say maybe the predecessor of online businesses would be domain names. it's been a big industry now for, I don't know, 10, 20 years, where people are buying domain names as digital assets like real estate and sitting on it, or maybe turning it into other assets, selling it, renting it out. So that was like the predecessor. And now people are doing the same thing with online businesses. It's just the last couple of years it's really taken off.
So y'all are, that's fascinating. I don't know why I didn't think about it like that. Perhaps it's because I'm not fully prepared for our conversation today, Yury, or maybe I just who knows. So you are constantly raising investment capital as well.
So we raised some capital in preparation for the IPO, and then we IPO'd and using those proceeds for the acquisitions.
Got it. And so you are not looking for additional funds, or you are?
I think our CEO is looking at other sources of capital, like debt financing, things like that. I don't really work on the finance side. I'm more of on the marketing and acquisition side. But yeah, I mean, we're listed on NASDAQ, right? So if anybody just wanted to buy shares, our our ticker symbol is ONFO. So that's kind of one way to, if somebody wanted to get involved.
Got it. Nice. All right. So walk us through what your marketing process is.
So I mean, we have a lot of different assets, and each asset has a different operator CEO. So the marketing is going to differ. For example, I'm also the CEO of two SEO agencies that I've recently taken over, and one of them was the acquisitions that we one of the acquisitions that we made. So basically, took over all the operations. It's something that hasn't had a lot of marketing in the past. It's been sort of relying on word of mouth and past clients. But now I'm coming in and starting the different marketing campaigns. We have a Black Friday special running now. We'll be starting Facebook and Google ads shortly, adding new services. I'm working on email marketing, different funnels, lead magnets. So kind of everything from A to Z.
Do you have a favorite lead magnet strategy that you've commonly used?
Um, I wouldn't say a favorite one. I like different tools and templates. I think the best one is actually a lot of companies do they create like a side project and they have it coded and they use that as a way. I know one company did it. They created like a free stock photo site, and that was like their lead magnet. If you think about it, like for example, Credit Karma. Are you familiar with Credit Karma?
I am.
So they're basically like the largest affiliate site in the world. And what did they do is they took something that was paid, which was credit reports, and they made it free. And now, they released something that was free. They were probably the first ones to do it. Provides a lot of value for consumers. And now every single consumer is a lead for them, and they give them credit card offers, home loans, all these offers that pay, a crazy like amount of money in affiliate commissions. So I think like creating tools is probably one of my favorite ways as far as lead magnet goes.
That's interesting. Fascinating. I'm aware of Credit Karma, but I didn't think about them as this large affiliate site. But what you just laid out makes all sense in the world. So is the email list, is that still really at the top? Is that one of the most powerful ways to sell your service product?
Yeah, I still think email is like one of the top assets. If you look at like conversion rate, right? Email is always going to have the largest conversion rate of any traffic channel. It's the only audience that you truly own, aside maybe from some people are doing some SMS and things like that. But when you're dependent on a platform and they make changes like Apple did with iOS, which affected Facebook ads, a lot of e-commerce companies and anybody relying strictly on Facebook, they suffered. A lot of them weren't able to recover. Similar things with AdWords. If you're selling on Amazon with like an FBA business, your business can be gone in a day if somebody reports you and Amazon suspends your account. So having an email list is still like the number one way where you can truly own your own audience.
Yeah. In terms of you mentioned the SMS, so text messaging, how has that grown, evolved? Has it been surprising? Has it been less than less exciting than people expected?
I don't see very often. I have read case studies where it has worked for some companies. I just think there's so many companies that they have so many other things to work on that SMS is not really top of mind. I personally don't like getting advertisements on SMS. I'm not sure how other people are. I prefer emails. It's not something we focus on right now. It might be in the future. Um, and I think some of it is actually how people interact with like SMS. In other countries, for example, there's like WhatsApp, which they might use for communicating with customers. But WhatsApp is not really a popular app in the US because we have SMS. Telegram, I see a lot of things happening on Telegram as well. But again, I think it might be more international rather than for US companies.
Yeah, that's interesting. And you're right. I personally don't enjoy receiving advertisements on text either. I don't mind in my email. So fascinating. Here in the United States, going through the election season, I think that every political campaign seemed to get my phone number and texted me relentlessly. So
Oh, I love when they do that because no matter what, I just respond, I'm voting for Trump just to piss them off.
it's a good idea.
Yeah,
I should adopt that for sure. I like it.
they will instantly remove you from their
That's it.
list when you say that.
Has there ever been a more triggering word in language than Trump? I don't know. Everybody's got an opinion about it for sure.
Elon Musk is going up there right now, so
No doubt. Yeah. Hmm. Interesting. That'd be interesting to look at how would I know that, Yury, what like Donald Trump versus Elon Musk, how often that's searched or put into the internet.
actually, you could do a comparison with Google Trends. You can put both of them and see the trend line of either of them. You can also use like a keyword research tool to look at the volume, but for that, I would just use Google Trends.
Yeah, that'd be interesting. Well, Yury, thank you so much for coming on. Where can people learn more about you and how can they engage with you and on Folio?
Yeah, so they can visit our website, unfolio.com. Email me personally, Yury, that's Yury at unfolio.com. They can look me up on LinkedIn, our company. I try to do a lot of these podcasts, so if they want to learn more, they can Google my name. And yeah, I'm always interested in helping other people, so they can just reach out.
Love it. Well, if you enjoyed this as much as I did, show your appreciation and share today's show with a friend who also appreciates good ideas. Go to onfolio.com. Shoot Yury an email, Yury at onfolio.com. Find him on LinkedIn. I'll list all those in the notes of the show. Thanks again, Yury.
Thank you.
And until next time, remember, do your part by doing your best.